Hello, welcome to our second video. This one is going to be about our architecture approval and things that needed to change. We did get a call from the building inspector after he looked over our plans and he noticed that it was a shipping container home. The first thing he pointed out was that our windows were not large enough for a bedroom egress in the 3 bedrooms. So we had to switch from doing a double pane window to doing casement windows in all of the bedrooms. We didn't want to widen them to make room for egress because the more you cut out of a shipping container, the more the structural integrity of the shipping container is compromised. So instead of making the windows bigger, we just changed the plans from double pane to casement. Casement windows are windows that people usually use in the basement if they're converting that space into a bedroom to allow the appropriate room to get in and out in the case of a fire. So that was the first thing. That was kind of an easy fix. I just mentioned that to the building inspector and he said he would just make a note in our plans that we were changing. So that qualified us for the egress that was needed in the windows. And then the second thing he needed was some type of proof that our foundation and our reinforcements after cutting out of the shipping container were going to be sufficient to be safe. He said that he had recently got a notification from the state of Ohio warning, all the building inspectors in the area got this warning about shipping container homes or just buildings in general, warning them to be very cautious if they were approached with one of those. So he said he had no experience with shipping containers, and so he wanted a professional opinion backing up the plans that we submitted, saying yes, this is safe, yes, this is appropriate foundation, yes, this is appropriate reinforcements after cutting out some of the metal for windows and doors. So that was the next step that we needed to do. So he called us about 2.5 weeks ago to let us know of those changes. And in the meantime, I've been in contact with several structural engineers, and it's been awful as far as finances go. That everyone quoted me just to look at our plans to see if they were good enough, safe enough, do load calculations. All of these structural engineers were saying that they would want like $3,500, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, we're just paying you to look at this and say yes, it's good, or no, it's not good. So those were not good quotes for us. I think I got 4 different quotes in that ballpark of price. And then God stepped in, which he keeps doing. But there was a client of Bryce's at the bank, my husband's at the bank, and it was a guy that's in construction, and he just gave my husband the number of an architectural engineer and said, hey, why don't you give this guy a call? I use him when I need special approvals and everything. So Bryce contacted him and he said he would do it for 1/10 of the price. So we're like, yay, awesome. So I immediately sent him our plans. He got back to us about a week later with stamped approvals. He did make changes to our foundation plans though, which they weren't good changes. So originally we had planned to do 6 pillars per shipping container. So that would have been 12 concrete pillars total with a diameter of 12 inches each, reinforced with rebar. He looked at the plans and he said he couldn't guarantee that that was sufficient for the load that the whole home would be bearing on the soil. He said it could be, but without a soil test, he couldn't guarantee that that would be the case. And so we looked into getting a soil test. We know of another couple that's in the process of building, and they paid to have a soil test. They're just a couple minutes away from us, and they paid $2,500 to have their soil tested. So our options were to pay the $2,500 to have our soil tested to see what our load capacity was and possibly keep our foundation plans, or go with the new plans that are already approved and already submitted to our building inspector without paying for a soil test, and increase our number of pillars from 12 to 20, and increase our diameter size from 12 inches to 24 inches. So we're more than, I think it was like tripling our amount of concrete needed. But if we pay to have the soil test, we could still possibly have to go with the larger pillars and pay the $2,500. So we just decided to go ahead with the larger pillars, foregoing the soil test, and just go ahead and build these larger pillars, taking into account the architectural engineer said that he figured the load capacity on the worst possible soil conditions found in Ohio, so that there would be no problem with the building inspector questioning it as far as the load bearing capacity of the concrete or anything. And the architect even said that he was surprised how much that our house is going to weigh. He had just, ballpark when he was thinking about it, he thought it would be less, but once he added up all of the weights required between the 2 shipping container homes and our lumber and our trusses, snow load, live load, all of that stuff, he said the weight of the home was going to be more than he thought. So that's why he kind of beefed up our foundation, kind of over, just made it safer, which, we'd rather have a safer foundation than a not safe foundation. So we're just going to go ahead and move forward with the bigger pillars. Doesn't really affect me a whole lot, because I'm not going to be the one doing the work since I am pregnant. But it will affect Bryce a whole lot. He had already dug 12 of the 12-inch holes, and he knocked that out within a day. But now he's going to have to dig even larger holes, even more holes. So just say a prayer for him, because he's going to have lots of labor just digging out these pier forms. And then one other change that he did make, the architect, we were just going to use the Sono form, or Sono tube forms. They're just these round cylinders that you stick into the ground after you dig out the pier shape, and then fill it with concrete. But the architectural engineer recommended that we dig a cylinder shape into the ground, but then the portion of the pier that's going to be above ground, he drew that up to be a 24 by 24 square, 16-inch high concrete block, basically. So we're scrapping the Sono tubes. We're taking those back, getting our money back from those. We're just going to dig round holes into the ground, build square boxes out of plywood and 2x4s for the above ground form, and then just pour concrete inside. So that's our adjusted plans after we had the building inspector look at them, and we've consulted with an architectural engineer. So it will change our foundation budget quite a bit, but at least we're able to keep moving forward, which is great. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.